This is VOA News. I'm Scott Walterman. A man who worked for the U.S. consulate in Vladivostok has been detained by Russian Domestic Security Agency. Associated Press reporter Mimi Montgomery says Russia is accusing him of collecting information about Russian action in Ukraine.
Russia's leading security agency says a detained former U.S. consulate employee is accused of gathering information about Russian actions in Ukraine and other issues on orders from U.S. diplomats. The agency says Robert Shonov is suspected of gathering information about the special military operation, mobilization processes in Russian regions, and protest activities of the population in the run-up to the 2024 presidential election. It also says it's aiming to question two American diplomats who allegedly instructed Shonov. His arrest was reported earlier this year without Russia giving details at the time. The U.S. condemns the arrest. I'm Mimi Montgomery.
Poland and Baltic nations on Monday asked Belarus to expel the Russian mercenary group Wagner, whose fighters are sheltering there. Poland says thousands of Wagner fighters are stationed in Belarus. According to new reports from Reuters, the Lithuanian government is also thinking about closing 2 of the 4 remaining border crossing points with Belarus. 2 other crossings were closed earlier this month. A U.S. federal judge expected to set a date on Monday for what could be one of the most momentous trials in American history, the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump. Special counsel Jack Smith has asked for the trial of the former U.S. president, who faces charges of conspiring to overturn the 2020 election, which he lost, to begin on January 2nd. His attorneys are asking that the trial begin in 2026. This is VOA News. Libya's prime minister has suspended the country's foreign minister and referred her for investigation after Israel said its foreign minister met with her last week, despite that the countries don't have formal relations. Here's VOA's Joe Ramsey.
Israel's statement on the meeting, in which it said the ministers had discussed possible cooperation, prompted small protest in Libya, which does not recognize Israel. But Libya's foreign minister said it had rejected a meeting with representatives of Israel, and what had occurred was an unprepared casual encounter during a meeting at Italy's Foreign Affairs Ministry. Since 2020, Israel has moved to normalize ties with the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan through the so-called Abraham Accords brokered by the United States. Joe Ramsey, VOA News.
We're watching 2 big storms, one in the Gulf of Mexico, which is expected to turn into a hurricane and hit first Cuba's western edge and then the west coast of Florida in the United States. The other is in the Pacific. Typhoon Saola has lashed northern Philippines with heavy rains and is now headed toward Taiwan and southern China. Here's another example of climate change creating havoc around the planet. In India's Himalayas, heavy rains is taking down buildings, in some cases whole towns and villages, as we hear in this report from Anja Pasricha.
Suresh Kumar's home collapsed on a night when torrential rain slashed Manjha village in India's mountain state of Himachal Pradesh. Neighboring villages experienced similar devastation. Many have taken shelter under tents.
There were small children and an old woman. We picked them up and fled. By the time we reached down, that land was also sinking and there was waist deep in water.
These families are among hundreds impacted by the unprecedented havoc caused by extreme monsoon rains. A recent study published in the journal Nature says that global warming is bringing more extreme rain and less snow to mountain regions in the northern hemisphere. Anjana Pasricha for VOA News, New Delhi.
British singer Elton John spent the night in the hospital in Monaco after being treated for minor injuries. He slipped at his villa in Nice. According to the BBC, the 76-year-old who completed his long-running Farewell Yellow Brick Road tour last month was taken to the orthopedic department of Prince Grace Hospital Center in Monaco. His spokesperson says, just as a precautionary measure, he is back home and reportedly in good health. I'm Scott Walterman, VOA News.
Thank you for watching. Can you do me a favor? Please leave a comment in the comments section below. That would really help. Thank you, and see you again soon.